What up, it's your boy Dvrth again with another video. Today we are here with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean, episode 22. Last episode we had, you know what? Actually, last episode, my dog died. Not my dog, but like my dog died. Foo Fighters got killed by boiling water. A boiling water, it came out of absolutely nowhere, but got killed by a boiling water stand. So that was fucked. Green Baby was born. Has probably the strongest size manipulation stand that we have seen to date. However, Jolene got captured it basically just by being a Joestar, which makes a lot of sense since the baby is also a Joestar. It's just curious about it, right? However, we are now kind of in that end game phase where the Pucci did get found out. However, unfortunately, the only person that found out about Pucci's identity or Whitesnake's identity is now dead. So we're kind of in a, not even kind of, we are in a bad position even with us capturing the baby, because we are nowhere closer to find out who Pucci is than we were in the last couple of episodes or any other episode really. So without anything short of a miracle, we're kind of screwed, or at least we're still at square one. So we're gonna see what happens next. I'm sure it's gonna be sad, because we're kind of in that phase of JoJo where just sad shit starts happening, just to let you know that this is the end, right? But we'll see what happens. So if you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or something totally different, the best place to that in is always my social media. Link's gonna be in the description below. We also have Patreon if you want these episodes early, and we have Discord. Oh, full length. Fuck. Patreon if you want the episodes early, or the full length reactions to these episodes. And we have Discord. Dear fucking God. So, with all that being said, let's get our headphones. Make sure they're on. Them bitches is on, and let's just get into it. You know, that's kind of cool. Just seeing them in bed, chilling, talking about random shit, as if they create stands that exist. Oh, that's kind of hard. They could have been. Oh, that's facts, actually. You give him physical form. Oh. Oh. From just this being a relationship, but oh shit. Oh. Ooh. That would be crazy if he took it though. Oh, this is how he got the bone? Is this how he got the bone? This is how he got the bone. Why did we come back here? Is that? It kind of sounds like weather report. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's weather report. A miracle! The miracle himself! Oh, what a demon! I said that unless it was a miracle, and is the living embodiment of a miracle. As much as I understand that he is the antagonist, it's not over yet for him. True victors are those who carry another second. Good shit. Jesus. Please let that be weather report in Foo Fighters. Please let that be my dog show. Please don't let this be an enemy fan. I'm horny. I'm horny as fuck. I'm horny as fuck. I'm horny as fuck. Huh. Oh, that's I ship it. I'm not 100% on that just yet. I get where he's coming from. I do not agree with it just yet. Like, he might be right, actually. Oh! What? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh! Oh, this shit is sick. It was the fucking stance on. Oh my god. She gonna grip you now. She can grip you now. She can grip you now. Nigga, this shit is crazy. This beat is automatic, supersonic, hypnotic, funky fresh. Nigga. Shit. Gotcha. Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Never talked. Oh my god. That's kind of like how JoJo didn't get to teach you too much. Oh shit. Oh. You motherfucker. Oh, that was hard. Yo. Oh shit! Got you, dumbass. Oh my god, he put it in his fucking finger now, nigga! She's a Joestar, big dog. See, you don't even know what that mean for real. Shit. No way! Oh fucking god. Oh my god. So Ansui died. It's over. Oh fuck. The disc is dying. Fuck. Singularity point. What was the things that were put in the notebook? There was actual oh my god, he's baiting the baby with the bones. What the fuck is... What the fuck? What the fuck? Bro. No way. Bro. Oh, he flipped it over on him. She lived. She lived. She lived. She lived. This shit is sad as fuck. It went... Oh wow. Oh. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Like, usually when I'm watching an episode, I usually like kind of go through I'm watching the episode and I can kind of see like points that of the show that I want to talk about for the discussion and stuff like that. But there comes an episode every now and then that kind of breaks everything that I wanted to talk about, right? Mostly because like it's such a shock for me that I kind of like lose focus of my my discussion points. And this was one of those episodes where like I kind of understood what I wanted to talk about, but so much was happening, and I had like an emotional overload to where I don't know. So we'll just go through it, just kind of just go through the episode and we'll talk about it. We start the episode with something that I really enjoyed, which is just kind of Pucci and Dio just in bed having what seems to be a normal conversation, right? Of course they're having a JoJo's equivalent of a normal conversation, right? But they're just kind of talking, right? And this isn't like me trying to read too much into it and being like, oh, this is means in the blah, blah. It's kind of just me saying that I really enjoy seeing Dio and Pucci just talking. Like there isn't much, there's something to it, but there isn't like anything crazy to it for real, right? Of course they were in like a romantic relationship, so of course they would be like kind of just having this, what I guess once again the JoJo equivalent of pillow talk. Talking about like art can kind of be like a stand because they have literally poured their body and soul into it and given it physical form, and how Pucci's stand is kind of like that, where something that I didn't exactly think of before, that Pucci's stand does actually give souls a physical form, which is really cool. And a lot, I would assume a lot can be inferred of that, or inferred from that. But one of the more interesting things about this scene is that one we get to see how, we know where, but we get to see how Pucci got Dio's bone, right? It was something in the back of my mind that I always like kind of thought about, is like I kind of just accepted it, and there's a lot of things in JoJo that I just kind of accept because it's JoJo. It's weird, it's bizarre, right? But this was something that I kind of thought about in the back of my mind, where I'm like, how did Pucci obtain a bone from Dio, right? Because as far as we know, Dio got disintegrated. They made sure Dio was killed. They killed Dio and then they killed Dio, right? So they made sure he died. There was no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. They laid his body in the sun and let him cook. They watched him die. So there was something in the back of my mind that's like, how did he get a bone from Dio? So this was a good way to show how he got the bone, right? Like I said, really, really cool just watching them talk and stuff. But yeah, this is a good way to show, like, yeah, he got the bone from Dio at this time. Second thing that we got to see was Dio bringing up the point that if Pucci wanted to, he could have stole the world and basically ruled the world. A lot of power could have been obtained from Pucci just being like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to steal his I was about to say quarter. I'm going to steal his stand, and I'm going to ascend. I'm going to gain all the power from getting the world, right? Now, to me, there's a difference between gaining power and gaining heaven, which to Dio, and I'm sure since we see a scene with Pucci and Dio talking, for Dio, heaven is more like a peace of mind, right? And I'm going to assume that this is something. Well, of course, this is something that they talked about. So yes, he could have taken the world and he could have done some crazy shit with it. He would have reigned as king. But as Pucci said, he loves Dio as like a, I forget what exactly he said. So I'm paraphrasing, but he loves Dio the same way that a man of faith loves his God, right? Of course, they had a little bit of a more nuanced relationship, but I do get what he's saying when he says that he loves him like a man of faith loves his God, because that's literally what they are, right? Is a man is like a man of faith, a priest, chaplain, whatever, and his God literally convening with each other. So there is a respect and there's a reverence that comes with being able to actually convene with him, right? Yes, he could just steal it, but he has a respect for Dio to where he's like, no, that's not what your teachings told me, right? That yes, I could do that, but that's not what the teachings that would conflict with your own teachings, right? So it's a lot of this scene is really good for just not just characterizing Dio and Pucci's relationship, but characterizing what their beliefs and what their relationship would be like, right? So this was a really good scene just to give us in the beginning of an absolutely crazy episode. Now, right off the bat, I'm just now realizing, did we get an OP this episode? No, we did not. Oh, we didn't. It's for real. That I should have known from right there how for real this episode was. But I said at the beginning of the video, I was like, unless there's an absolute miracle to happen, there was no way that Foo Fighters was going to survive the boiling water. And who else to create a miracle if not Weather Report, who is literally, like, in a lot of ways, he's a walking biblical miracle, just incarnate. He is the one person that I expect to make miracles happen, right? Like legit miracles. So my dog comes in clutch with the rain, being able to obscure Foo Fighters enough for them to get away and actually get to Jolene and stuff. So that I'm happy about, because they got to Foo Fighters actually got to get to Jolene. Now, granted, Foo Fighters ended up dying anyway, and we'll get to that. But at least Foo Fighters actually got to get to Jolene and see her again, right? Because I feel like that's exactly what Foo Fighters would want in a situation like that. Of course, it's what they want, right? But a great, and I mean, I don't know if this came up after that, but a fantastic double, how do I explain this? A fantastic trap set up by Whitesnake and Father Pucci, which is to cloak himself and disguise himself as Weather Report, and disguise himself as Weather Report, and then attack as soon as he finds the opening, which was incredibly well done by Father Pucci. As Father Pucci said, while in that situation where Foo Fighters got away, there was nothing that showed Father Pucci that he had lost right there, right? The victor, as he said, like, the victor is going to win under any circumstance or whatever you said in that situation, right? And even that is kind of a good way to look at Father Pucci's faith as well, because he was kind of he was kind of in a really bad position at what could look like an unwinnable position, but just his what's the word I'm looking for? His conviction towards his overall goal won the day right there, where he was absolutely like on board with, I am going to bring heaven to this world, and nothing is going to stop me, right? Same way that a holy man would be for his God, right? It does not matter what is in my way. If God wills it, this is what I will do. So a lot of good. The reason why I like Father Pucci as a antagonist, and why Father Pucci to me personally is probably my favorite antagonist, is because a lot of what he does is not wrong. Father Pucci is terrifying because he is the kind of antagonist that is technically, he's doing good. Like, and when I say he's doing good, I mean like other antagonists like Dio, he was evil. He was evil. At least when in the parts that we saw him, he was evil. Kira was evil. Like, he was evil and selfish. Dio was evil and selfish. Cars was evil and selfish. Who was in well, Dio, that was Dio, but like everybody was evil and selfish. Technically Pucci thinks he's doing a good deed, which is why he is the scariest, and he is the scariest, he is the strongest, and he is the best antagonist that we have gotten so far, because the scariest antagonists, the scariest villains, whatever you want to call them, are the ones that think that they are doing the right thing, not just because that's what they want, because they feel like that is the right thing to do for everybody. It's not like this is what I want. It's no, everybody should do this because this is going to end up being really good for everybody. Not just because like, oh, you can kind of sympathize or empathize with him, be like, oh yeah, or you could see his way of thinking, like, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? It's because the conviction that Father Pucci has is the same kind of conviction that the hero of the story has, because they both think they're doing the right thing. And usually in a lot of stories, it's what you can when you can tell that somebody is going to lose. What's the telltale sign of a villain or an antagonist losing is that they go full evil. When their plan is completely evil, or they at least kind of ride that line of evil a little bit, and they start kind of tipping over to that point. That's when you know, you're like, oh, the story is telling you that like this guy has to go, right? Like at least from a meta perspective, the story is telling you that this guy has to go. The thing with Pucci is that Pucci is not inherently evil. He is not inherently evil, and he's not even evil right here. He is he's doing exactly what he thinks is good for the world. And because those same values can be found in our protagonists, it puts them on equal footing. It puts them on equal ground. Either one could win because both of them are right and wrong at the same time. Now, does that mean that for the rest of the episode, for the rest of the show or the story or the part, will Pucci always be right? No. Is Pucci always right? No. But what I'm trying to say is that the same can be said for Jolene. Will she always be right? No. Is she always right? No. Will she continue to be right? Who knows, right? Because that can be said the same thing for both of them, puts them on equal ground, and makes it a lot more interesting of a story, because while I don't think that there are a lot of Pucci apologists, I doubt that there are like people who are like, yeah, Pucci was right, because I think I'm pretty sure he'll have like a misstep later on in the part where it's like, oh, you fucked up, you know, now you gotta go, right? And even now, like, we've talked about a bunch of missteps that Pucci has had where it's like, oh, you fucked up, you gotta go, right? I think I don't think there are any Pucci apologists, but I can see if I were in this world, I can see where he's going. I can see where he's coming from, right? I can see where he's coming from. Like, it's not that he's right. I can just see where he's coming from, and that's all you need, right? That's all you need. So really, really cool. The fight was really good. I mean, this, like, if I looked back at this fight, I probably would see that not much happened, right? But the fight itself was so intense for me, because when things happened, and this is the thing about fights, is like, when things happened, they were all important. They all had substance to them. Every hit, kick, battle rush, or punch, volley, or whatever, every like 400 IQ play, everything was like, that's a make or break for the opposition. When Jolene did something, it was like, oh shit, Pucci might lose. But when Pucci did something, it was like, oh shit, Jolene might lose. And no punch, kick, volley, rush, or just idea or plan, none of it was pointless. Everything had a meaning, and every punch or kick had weight to it. If Pucci got punched, oh shit, if you go down, they kill you and it's wraps. If Jolene went down, oh shit, they kill you and it's wraps. When Jolene got the chain, the handcuffs, oh shit, it's wraps, because now you can't get to the baby. When Pucci through the disc, oh shit, now it's like, there were so many points of this fight that just had me on the edge of my seat, because they all mattered. Everything mattered in this fight. So yeah, when I look back at it, maybe not a lot happened. Like, maybe it was not actually a lot happening, but it felt like a lot, because everything carried weight. Every action carried weight in this fight. And that's really just how you make a really good fight. And they went to some fucking lengths to achieve either side's goal. Just some crazy shit, and we'll get into that. Let's see where we had the fight. That was really great. I get here's the thing. After the fight, right, and Jolene decides to go after the memory disc, which is a crazy thing, that if the person who has a disc inside of them, if they die, then the disc dies, which is okay. It's something that just got, I don't want to say it just got thrown in, but it makes sense, right? I can believe that. It makes sense that, yeah, if you have the disc inside you and you die, of course the disc isn't just gonna pop out. Like, it is literally a physical manifestation of a memory or a soul. Therefore, if you lose one, if you die, yeah, it passes on with you. So yeah, that makes sense. But once once Jolene actually goes over to get the disc, we then get Pucci saying shit. And at first I was confused. I was like, he's just saying like random shit? Is he going crazy, or is like what's going on, right? Until I realized, I was like, this shit sounds familiar. And not like I've heard it somewhere, right? Because he was just saying shit to me. Like when I was reading the subtitles, I was hearing what he was saying. I was like, it just sounds like he's saying shit. But that's when it clicked. That's what the fuck launch codes are supposed to sound like to somebody that doesn't know what it means. That's when it clicked. They are launch codes, just not for rockets or nukes or anything like that. They're launch codes for a singularity point. A fucking singularity point. One of the codes in that launch code was singularity. He said it twice. He said it twice. Oh my god. So I think, and hear me out on this, because I think we can kind of after all, I don't want to say that because there's still a lot of anime left, but after a good amount of like things happening here, like a good amount of theories and stuff that we've thrown out so far in the 20 episodes, 22 episodes that we've had of part 6, I think we can get a coherent idea of what Pucci's plan is. A fucking singularity point, which, to be fair, I'll pat myself on the back a little. I don't usually pat myself on the back, but I'll pat myself on the back a little bit for this one, because this was a fucking Hail Mary, and I understand that this was a fucking Hail Mary. There were I don't want to say hints. There were clues, I guess, but to be honest, if I'm just honest with myself, I was throwing a Hail Mary with the very little that I had, right? But it's literally a singularity point that he wants. Let me sit up for this, cause we about to. I feel like we gotta really talk for this one. Now that it's actually been said out loud, we now have to like take into consideration what a singularity point does. I'm not going to think about how he does it. I'm not going to think about like what the instructions actually mean, what the launch codes actually mean, how to decipher it or anything like that. I'm not smart enough. I understand that. And I'm sure there's somebody else on YouTube that does a way better job than I ever will to fully decode this. But I will explain it in the best way that I can. Or at least what I understand a singularity point to be. For a singularity point to occur, if a singularity point occurred, it is literally what it sounds like. Everything at a single point. Now, what does that mean for Pucci? Why does a singularity point help Pucci, a man of God who wants to bring everybody to heaven and all this other shit? What does that help? How does that help Pucci? This is where I bring in something from 3 parts ago, and I haven't watched part 3 in a while. It's been, when I say a while, I haven't watched part 3 in like a couple months, right? I rewatched part 3 maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 months ago. Like 6 months ago, give or take, right? So I have to bring up something from 3 months, or from 3 parts ago, right? When Paul Dvrth first saw Dio, when he first saw Dio in his little mansion thing at the end of part 3, and he's at the stairs, Dio has a conversation with him that I don't exactly remember what the exact words being said in that conversation was, right? But I do remember what the idea of the conversation was. The idea of the conversation that Dio had with Polnareff was that he wanted Polnareff to join him. He said to Polnareff, if you leave, we cool. Basically, he was like, if you leave, we cool. If you take another step, we are not. Now, why does this have anything to do with a singularity point and Father Pucci 3 parts later, right? What is this? What is a conversation between Dio and Polnareff have to do with a singularity point? The idea behind and when I first watched that episode, I don't think I fully understood what Dio was saying. Watching it a second time, I get it. I get it. If Polnareff were to join Dio, there is a good chance, I can't say for certain that, but there's a good chance Dio would have won, or he would have had a better chance at winning, right? The idea wasn't so much for whether Dio won, but it was that Polnareff would have been safe. What I mean by safe is that Polnareff would not have had to worry. Throughout the whole siege on Dio's castle, everybody was on high alert, anxiety on 3000, right? Anxiety on 3000. They were scared. They didn't know what was going to happen. Anybody could have died, and anybody did die, right? But if Polnareff in that moment would have joined Dio, he would not have to worry about it anymore. Maybe not specifically, but I think I remember Dio saying something about, did he say something about peace of mind in that conversation, or am I just imagining that because we're talking about peace of mind? The point is that the idea was that Polnareff did not have to worry anymore. He would have been happy. He would have been happy because he wouldn't have to worry about whether he died or not, whether he would be attacked or not, because Dio would have been chilling. They would have been chill if he now granted, would Dio have upheld that promise? Would he have, who knows, right? Would he have not upheld that promise? Who knows? But the idea, if we were to take it face value, is that if he walked away, he would have been chill. Dio, they would have been homies, whatever. They would have been chilling, and he would not have to worry. He would have been spared. Now, of course, we don't know that we know that that's not how that worked. But the idea was that he would have not had to worry anymore. Now, if this was Dio's idea, if this was already like brewing in Dio's head, and we know that this was after of course we know that this was after the Pucci talks, because he died like later that night. But if Dio is already thinking this after talking with Pucci, we know that the plan is already in motion. The plan for the singularity is already in motion, because he's already thinking about the thing that gives people that true happiness, the thing that brings people to heaven, or eliminates how do I explain this? The thing that brings people to heaven is to be able not to worry anymore, right? And I'm pretty sure he talked about that in like the last batch of the part as well, right? But since people do not have to worry anymore, if Polnareff did not have to worry anymore, he would have essentially attained heaven, right? Now, if we get back to the singularity point, that is how you mass produce heaven, right? Or at least you bring everybody in, right? Because in a singularity point, once again, it is everything in a single point. That means time and space too. And if that means time and space too, think of all the people that don't have to worry anymore because they would know everything. And with knowledge, with intellect, and with living, most likely over and over, you would not have to worry anymore. i.e., you would have ascended to heaven. It was always about souls. You know, it was always about, you know, the stands and the people and all this other stuff. But mainly what it was about was eliminating worry, anxiety, not knowing, the uncertainty of what your fate has for you is what created those negative feelings. When Dio was poor, he didn't know where his next meal was coming from. He didn't know who was gonna pop off on him. He didn't know any of that shit, right? When cars was getting dirted, you know what I'm saying? He didn't know. If you can go across the board with every villain, every character, every protagonist, every character, every side character, whatever. The not knowing, the uncertainty of what fate had for them next, like what had the uncertainty of what fate had for them, right, is what bred that discontent for a lot of people. The fear, the anxiety, all this other stuff. But if you know, if you've already seen it, if you've already lived it, if you are free in your thinking and not caring, if you are truly ascended, you do not care anymore. You have eliminated those things. So the singularity point, however they do it, that's what that means to for Dio and Pucci, right? That is the idea. Now, granted, we still don't know what exactly the launch codes actually mean, right? I just know that he said singularity point a bunch of times, and that's you know, that's what that okay, right? But now we know. Oh shit, my thing went off. No, I was using that to look at. Okay, but now we know that's the plan. That's the plan, to create a singularity point and to most likely fuck with the temporal balance of the universe in order for people to eliminate that worry, that anxiety, that uncertainty. Everybody's happy in the end. This is why I say that both Jolene and Pucci are on equal footing, because Pucci believes that is the best outcome for everybody. And I can't, like, here's the thing, I can't argue with him for real. Because think about it. Think about how good your life would be if you didn't have the anxiety that you had today, right? If there was no uncertainty, if everything was accepted and you did not have to worry anymore. I couldn't look Pucci in the eyes and say you're wrong, right? I couldn't look Pucci in the eyes and say you're wrong. What I could say, how I could retort to that, is the same way that I believe Jolene would retort to that, and that's why I think that she's also right, is that is not living. And that leads me into Foo Fighters. The singularity does help everybody. Technically, it does. Nobody's worrying anymore. Everything's over. You're good. Now, I'm sure that there, like I've said before, I'm sure there's more nuance to that. I'm sure there's more to that. But yeah, we get the point, right? But that's not living. What living was what Foo Fighters was doing. And as we know, Foo Fighters is a creature that ran off pure intellect, right? And as we know, Foo Fighters knows that intellect was before the universe, blah blah blah, and whatever that means. And you know that there was intellect before the universe, but there wasn't life. There's a lot of things that go into life that intellect and heaven lack. What Foo Fighters was doing, making memories with Jolene, you know, the Hermes, just the whole gang and everybody that she's met, that was living. And you can't do that without the uncertainty. As we see with Foo Fighters, they were happy. They were literally happy. They were content. In a lot of ways, Foo Fighters also obtained heaven. And in the most natural way, they died, yeah, they died. But they were content with the life that they lived before they did, right? That's what got them to that heaven. Because eventually they did get to their fate. They did get there. And because of the life that they live, with the uncertainty, with the worries, with the fear and the anguish and the pain and all that other stuff, there were still good times there. There, you know, as cheesy as it sounds, with all that, there was still happiness, friends, good times. There was joy. There was fun. There was silliness, there was jokes, there was laughs, there was all that, along with everything else. And what all that culminated into was a life worth living. So when Foo Fighters finally died, they were content. There was no more uncertainty. There was no more worry. There was no more fear. There was nothing. They ascended to heaven. And all because they lived a life. What made Foo Fighters' death so sad is that, as we've been talking about throughout the part since we met Foo Fighters, that Foo Fighters has a very unique outlook on life, because they know what it's like to not live. And not a lot of people can say that. Not a lot of people know what it's like to not live. Of course there are people who have been in like some shitty situations to the point of not feeling like they are living and just surviving. But in Foo Fighters situation, they literally were not living. They were surviving. They were existing off of pure intellect, but intellect alone does not help you. At least not to live, right? So it was really sad, because with Foo Fighters and understanding what it's not like to live, she was able to appreciate living a little bit more than what others could, right? To understand what it's like to not have that is what made her so happy. Cause Foo Fighters really wanted to stay a little bit longer with Jolene. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't they? But the time that they spent with each other was sufficient. It was sufficient enough for them to be happy at the end of their time, right? And since they know, it could have been a lot worse. That's why that line of, it's fine, I lived, I have a soul. Like, look at me. I have a soul. I would not have had a soul if I were still just plankton surviving and existing off of intellect. You gave me a life. I lived. That's why that hit so fucking hard. That hit so fucking hard. That shit almost made me cry when they said that. Like, because it just, there's some things in JoJo that just make so much sense to the point that you can't explain why it makes sense. It just does, right? I think that's one of the genius things about JoJo is that sometimes they explain very simple ideas and themes in a way that does not need to be explained. And this is one of them. Foo Fighters living. That was it. That was it. I got to live. That was great. That was great. I've never experienced that in my existence. That shit was great. And I'm glad that you, Hermes, Weather Report, Emporio, everybody else, even my enemies gave me the chance to live. That was great. Had a fun time. See y'all later. That's one of the hardest deaths ever. That shit was hard. Because we've never really had a death for, and this is not just with JoJo. I don't think I've ever experienced a death of somebody, and maybe I have. I mean, like, maybe I have, you know, it's, I'm not saying that this is like super, oh my God, I've never seen anybody do, like, I'm sure that there have been other stories to kind of do this, but for me personally, at least, unless I'm forgetting something or some other show or something that I've watched, I've never really seen somebody who did not know what it was to, like, literally did not know what it was to live, get a chance to live and die, right? And like I said, there are other stories that have probably done it. It's just that this one just hit so hard, right? This one just hit so hard, right? But yeah, that was a great death. That was a great death. Now, finally, I guess we should talk about what exactly happened to Father Pucci. This, to be fair, this discussion's already long. But what exactly happened to Father Pucci? What it seems like in all of the mayhem, I kind of missed it a little bit, but I still noticed enough, which was that he pulled out his finger bone or something, which, ow, that is painful as fuck. But he like pulled out his finger bone, and gave it to the baby, or lured the baby in with the finger bone, and the baby ate his arm. Should I go back and check? I don't know. Which, to be fair, I think he already had a wound from like when he had the bone the first time and it went through his hand. So I think he just gripped into there and just pulled out a bone. But so he gave the baby the bone, and the baby ate his hand. I'm trying to see where the fuck this happened. Okay, here it is. What happened here? No. Also, the line "Hallelujah Dio" was fan-fucking-tastic. Fantastic. But I can't find it. The point is that it seems like the baby ate his hand, and the line "Hallelujah Dio" basically kicks off whatever the fuck this singularity is going to be, right? I know we just spent a long time talking about it, but to be fair, I always have to say this because you know, I mean, it could be a lot of things, but it could be something totally different, right? But the baby eats, or I think it just eats his arm, because it already said that it's like, they already said like it eats things for nourishment or and something like that. But he eats Pucci's arm, which could mean a lot of things. Either the baby is going to eat Pucci and turn into a final form, with using Pucci's body, or the two are literally going to combine. Because while it could look like he was eating him, and once again I can't find, I would be able to fully confirm this if I could find the frame. But while it could look like the baby was eating Pucci, it could also just be them combining into one being, right? As we know, we're talking about singularity points. The idea of things combining is not very far-fetched. And two, this thing is basically a reincarnation of Dio. In a lot of ways, and I think we've talked about this before too, in a lot of ways, this could be a good way for Pucci to also bring Dio along to heaven, right? And if they combine, this is probably, not even probably, this is most likely one of the parts or points of whatever ritual or some holy sacrament that they're doing, right? I haven't said holy sacrament in a long time. Y'all remember? Anybody played Silent Hill 4? Anybody played Silent Hill 4 where they had the holy sacrament in that nigga? That nigga, what was that nigga's name? This has nothing to do with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but that nigga was killing people for Is this a holy sacrament? Wait a minute. Should I Google this? Should I Google this? Should I Google this? I'm actually afraid to Google this, because if I Google this and I get spoiled, you're not getting the next episode, because I'm probably going to kill myself. I don't think I should Google it. I don't think I should Google it. I'm actually, because I actually don't know what a holy sacrament is, right? I only know a holy sacrament from like Silent Hill 4, where what's his name? The antagonist for Silent Hill sacrifices a bunch of people to bring his mother back. And I don't know if that's what a sacrament is. I forget what was the fucking plot. This has nothing to do with JoJo. I'm just now frustrated that I can't remember what the plot for the end plot or end goal for Silent Hill 4 was. What's his name? Walter Sullivan. Walter Sullivan. Spoilers for Silent Hill 4, though. If this is how this ritual is, because what he could be doing is that he's never said that he needed to like sacrifice anybody. Like, I don't think he would like sacrifice Jolene, because he would just already did it. Because what I was thinking is that, like, oh shit, what if part of the plan, if this is like some type of holy sacrament, is to sacrifice Jolene and the others and do some shit, right? But he would have done it already. I went on a tangent that was not supposed to be. Point being though, whatever is going on, them merging and stuff is part of this overall plan. Now what that does, I'm not 100% sure. Like what that will do for for Pucci, I'm not 100% sure. What I can say is that we know that if they do merge, not White Snake, Pucci has a stand, and what's the green? I don't think they gave her a name. The green baby has a stand. If they merge, do the stands merge too? And if the stands merge, what the fuck does that create? Cause now we're okay. If the stands merge, then we have a viable way to do the whole singularity point thing, right? Because now we don't know what exactly this super stand is going to do. That's literally mixed with a direct descendant of Jonathan, Joestar, and Dio, mixed with Pucci, who has it actually busted as fuck stand, right? They mix together. That basically creates a stand that is probably able to do something like that, like probably able to create a singularity. What that is, or if it's even feasible, or if it will even happen, that they like, if it's feasible to create a new stand from fusing two stands, yeah, we have a problem. We actually have a problem then, because who know, like that's like me saying like, what if Josuke and Okayasu fuse the Zahando and Crazy Diamond? Those are some strong ass stands. We have never seen stands fuse. That's what I'm saying, is that we've never seen stands fuse. If they actually are fusing, the stands got to fuse too. Meaning this might be the first stand fusion that we've ever seen. That's some crazy shit. That is some crazy shit. I still want to look up what Holy Sacrament means. I'll say this actually. This is probably going to be, and we're like a long way into the discussion, so nobody's probably going to hear this part. But I'll say this. If somebody does hear this part, tell me whether or not to look up Holy Sacrament. Like, just maybe that in itself might be a spoiler, so maybe don't tell me. I don't know. Because as soon as I said, I was like, oh shit, maybe they're not launch codes. Maybe this is literally a Holy Sacrament, whatever the fuck that is. Because I don't know what a Holy Sacrament is. The only thing I know about that, a Holy Sacrament, is Silent Hill 4. And if that is what that is, we really have problems. Like, we actually have problems, because we're in a prison. We're in a prison. If that is what that is, we are in a prison. Think about that. Why didn't Walter Sullivan was in prison? Why didn't he just do it then? Why are we talking about Silent Hill? Okay. All right. I think that should be the end of the discussion, because now I'm talking about stupid shit, because we're talking about Silent Hill now, and that has nothing to do with JoJo. But yeah, tell me if I no, don't tell me. If it's not a spoiler, tell me if I should Google Holy Sacrament. The definition of a Holy Sacrament. Somebody just tell me the definition of a Holy Sacrament. Somebody just do that. Unless it's a spoiler. God damn it, I don't know. all right. I need to stop talking because this video has become too long, and I don't. When videos get this long, I start feeling like I'm not talking about anything for real. So, yeah, that was probably one of the best episodes of this part that I have seen. And probably maybe in like at least my top 10 episodes of JoJo, because that was really fun, especially with the FF stuff. That was really good. And even Ansui being like, you know, you can do this because you are just a plane, and flipping it over. Oh, it was great. I loved that. I love that. So yeah, that was great. Really enjoyed that episode. Almost cried. Didn't think I would get that emotional for FF, but damn it, that was my dog. So with all that being said, if you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all that other stuff. You're just a lurker. I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or something totally different, the best place in that in, as always, my social media link's going to be in the description below. And if you want these episodes early or the full length reaction to these episodes, however long these bitches are, you can subscribe to my Patreon. Link's going to be in the description below for that as well. And we also have a Discord if you want to join that. So with all that being said, y'all stay amazing, stay safe, and take care of yourselves. Somebody give me the definition of that. Somebody give me the definition. Somebody please give me the definition of Holy Sacrament. Fuck it, just give me the definition. I don't care where you get. I don't care if you DM it to me or whatever. Give me the definition. It's gonna be eating at me for a long time, unless it's a spoiler. Don't give me no spoilers. Just give me the straight definition. No spoilers, just a straight definition. All right, now I'm out of here. Let me get out of here now. All right, off button. All right, peace. Bye. Holy Sacrament.